If you're an existing subscriber, then you've probably noticed that the name of the channel has changed, and it's no longer Bland Hermit, but is now Apocalyptic Hermit. I decided I needed a name that was a bit more striking and a bit more interesting, so Bland Hermit has left the chat and Apocalyptic Hermit has entered. So I've also decided I'm going to take a bit more of an aggressive approach to the channel in general, because it's not doing so well. I'm not really getting views on my videos. It's hard with YouTube. You don't really know, you never know where you stand with it, to be honest. Videos randomly get recommended and others just do not. And you don't really change your methods on how you do anything, but it's just really random. So I'm wondering if maybe it's just kind of unappealing how it is at the moment. So, yep, Apocalyptic Hermit from now on. And I'm just going to ask straight away that you please like the video, because I usually leave that till the end and nobody hits the like button, barely. So yeah, please hit the like button if you're already a subscriber, and if you're not, maybe stick around for a few minutes, see what you think, and then hit the like button. But it does help get it recommended. So anyway, this video is going to be about how everybody thinks that things are getting worse in the world. Things are, visibly degrading, and things just aren't as great as they used to be. Everybody's kind of pining for this mythical past where everything was great and everybody knew what they were doing, and everybody was, everyone knew their place, and everything was affordable, and you could have a family and you could get a job easily and all that sort of thing, and life was just grand. Life was wonderful. Well, the thing is, this past that people are desperately trying to get back, the people today who they look back on, say, their childhood, if they were a child in the 80s or the 90s or even the 70s, and they think life was so much better back then. I want that for now. Well, the thing is, that past that we lived through, that the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, or whatever it was, the early 2000s, whenever you were a kid or whenever you were a young person and life seemed more simple and things seemed more innocent and less perverse and less depraved than they are now. The truth is, those few decades, that small handful of decades that you can count on one hand, and it's disputable whether it was, about 30 years or 50 years or whatever, probably no more than 60 years, if I'm honest. That was a blip in human history, because all of human history before the 1960s, we're talking Western world here, obviously. I'm from England, so I'm in the West. But all of our history up till that point was horrible, really. Not as horrible as, people of a Marxist bent would have you know. They just think that the past was horrible and dumb people lived in the dumb past. Well, it wasn't quite as black and white as that. There was good things in the past, bad things in the past. But for the average person, throughout all of human history, life was extremely hard. It was dangerous, it was dirty, it was kind of smelly. It was unpleasant on the whole, because death was just a fact of life. You could easily lose your life from day to day, be it in the hunt, be it in war, be it from disease. Any number of things could take you out. And every day could have been your last day. And it has always been like that. Forever. There's never been a time in human history that was as prosperous and as comfortable as these few decades that we've just experienced. So my idea here that I've been thinking about is everybody who's pining for the past, right? They are pining for a very, very tiny window of time, a few decades in the grand scheme of things, in the hundreds of thousands of years or millions of years or whatever it's been where modern man has been walking around on the earth. It has never been as good as those few decades. That was the most prosperous and the best time to be alive, basically. It was like a very, very short golden age. Even in the Roman Empire, for example, people didn't live anywhere near as nicely as they did in those decades. And the Roman Empire is considered, one of the greatest empires in history, aside from the British Empire and a few other ones. But it's, people in those few decades, and even today, because we're in the, we've kind of come out of the end of that short period now, that strange abnormality in human history that we've just experienced. But people, from the 70s to, the present moment where you're listening to this now, those people lived better than kings did 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. It is an unprecedented level of prosperity and general luxury for the average person. And it's a weird thing to have occurred. There's no precedent for it in history. So people are really, all they want is to snatch back those few decades. Well, the hard truth is you're not going to get it back. It's not coming back. The title of this video is, are things getting worse or are they just getting back to normal? And that's the thing, things are just getting back to, they're getting worse from what they were a few decades ago, but they're just getting back to the natural state. People are going to, as the ensuing decades go by, people are going to have to learn to live with less. They're going to have less luxuries, they're going to have less comfort. They're not going to have the cushy lives that they have now. And that's just things kind of reorientating themselves, or reorienting, I always forget which one it is. But it's just things getting back to how they've always been, which is pretty crappy for the average person. So it's not, this isn't some crime that's being committed against you. I mean, there are certain things going on, the upper echelons of society who are making this happen, because it is managed decline, but people take it personally. They feel personally robbed that they're not getting what their parents had. But your parents' lived far worse than you live now. It's the myth of progress. It's we're led to believe that things are going to get better and better and better and better forever and ever and ever. No, it's not true. Everything, what goes up must come down. Everything has a peak. And we have reached the peak. We're on our way down now. And the tragedy of our times, for us, who lived through it, the whole thing, the whole few decades, however many it was, of, unprecedented peace and prosperity, in our daily lives. The tragedy for us, if you lived through part of it or all of it, is that we know about it. We kind of know what we've lost. If you're like me, I was born in 1989, so I was a child all through the 90s, and I was a teenager in the early 2000s, so I caught a glimpse of a better world, but I know that it's one I'm not going to be able to live in as an adult. That's the tragic thing of it, is we just missed out, those of us my age and younger. If you're younger than me, you may have never seen that world. If you're a bit older than me, you may have experienced some of it, and it seems like a lot of people enjoyed it, because you see lots of comments on videos from that time saying that was the best time to be alive. I miss those times. I loved it when I was a kid. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it while it lasted, but it's not coming back. And yeah, things are just getting back to normal. It's going back to the normal state of people being, going back to living in less than ideal conditions. People are going to have to get used to having a lot less and not being able to order fast food every day. That's not... They think that this is normal life, sitting around playing video games, watching Netflix, ordering food to be delivered to your door. That's not normal life. There's never been anything like that, ever. And we have it for now. It started, in the late 20th century, all that kind of thing. But it's not going to last forever. It's just not going to. It's just, like I've said, it was a blip. It was a small, tiny window of time, a drop in the ocean of time, a fart in the wind of time, and it's gone. And it's not coming back, sadly. So we're just going to have to adjust our expectations, I think, for our futures. It's not going to be what existed before. It's just going to be, a less pleasant version than what we've got. And it'll be gradual. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be, we've got everything, I'm playing my PlayStation today and tomorrow there's no electricity and everything's just looks like a Fallout game. It's going to be gradual. So you will adjust to it. You will get used to it. But that's just what it is. Things are not just getting worse. They're not getting worse. They're getting back to normal. That's what it is. Anyway, I hope this video helped you make sense of some things in the world. I hope that it's brought you some clarity. And I'll ask once again, please like the video and leave a comment with your thoughts if you can. It'd be very much appreciated. Yeah, this has been the newly rebranded Apocalyptic Hermit. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.